Okay, in this next part, we're going to talk about something that's called a mid segment. A mid segment is kind of like what we were doing a moment ago, but it's a very particular case. So instead of just saying that we're talking about generally when we draw a line in here that's parallel to the bottom somewhere and that cuts us up into proportional segments on the sides, we're going to draw that line just directly between two particular places, between the midpoint of one side and the midpoint of the other side. Right? So when I say the midpoint, I mean in the middle of this line is its midpoint, in the middle of this line is its midpoint, and if we connect those two midpoints, something in particular is going to happen. So what is going to happen is we are going to create what's called a mid segment. And what's special about a mid segment is the mid segment is always half as big as that other side down below it. Okay, so if this side down here is 10, then this is going to be 5. One way you can think about like why that would be true, if I added a little bit more into this drawing, for example, if I cut this right here, then what I'm going to end up with is, well, over on the right side, this midpoint is in the middle of the x direction and the y direction of these 2 points. So if, from left to right, it's in the middle of that, and up and down, it's in the middle of that as well. I may not have drawn it perfectly, but that's where it should be if it's a midpoint. So it's in the middle of the x direction and it's in the middle of the y direction. Well, for this one, the same thing's true. So for from like this point to here, it's halfway in between in the x direction as well. So if we've cut this overall triangle into these two right triangles, then if we look at them separately, we can say that, well, this point, this little length here is half of this length, and this length here is half of that whole length. So overall, when we put these two together, they should be half of when we put these two together. That's our mid-segment idea. So we connect two midpoints and we get a line that is half as long as the line it is parallel to. And if we continue connecting midpoints, so if we did this one, then that line is half as long as that side, and this line is half as long as that side. And we get kind of like if you ever play Zelda games, you get that Triforce kind of image. Um, And I think that is all we have to talk about there. If you read through on here, it says a mid-segment of a triangle is parallel to one side of the triangle, and its length is one half of the length of that side. Okay, so let's move forward and kind of use that idea in context in the next video.